Wasatch Whatnuts, it is Thursday, January 30th in the United States and Canada, and this is a show called What Chaos presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WhatChaos so you can get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run that game of yours. My name is Dave Bean. I am sitting next to Pete Blackburn, and across the room is Sean DePaz. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Shout out Ben from Genius Jackets. If you can see over my shoulder, Sean, you want to hit me with this Uno thing? Yeah. Bang.
Look at that.
And
Beautiful.
Ben affixed the A to it because the ones that were being sold, that's a Seth Jones Winter Classic jersey behind me. Folks said no one would buy them. Wrong. I would buy them. He put an A on it, and the A is like the most high quality thing in the world. The nicest thing I own is the A that is sewn to a very nice jersey.
Well, that is great news because I have officially put in my first order with Ben from Genius Jackets Sports Stitches.
Is this true?
It is. It literally came together in the 30 seconds before the show started.
Happened very fast.
Based on a conversation that, I don't want to tell tales out of school, before the show started, the three of us were talking to each other.
Yeah. It literally, right before we went live, I sent him a message and said, I got an order for you. I totally forgot that I own a blank Edmonton Oilers jersey. And based on how the shows have gone this week, I bet you can guess which player I'm going to get on my blank Edmonton Oilers jersey.
So not Darnell Nurse.
Not Darnell Nurse.
Vasily
Not Leon
Podkolzin.
Draisaitl. Not Vasily Podkolzin. Not Connor McDavid. Not Jeff Skinner. I
Stuart
already have
Skinner?
one of those. Not Stuart Skinner.
You can't get a Podkolzin or a Jeff Skinner. Why?
Because that is an Adidas blank Edmonton Oilers jersey.
That's our kind of jersey foul.
That's foul.
Like
Yeah,
you want
I
to put suck me off on your jersey? Fine. Go for it. But you got to be consistent with when the jerseys and players were there at the same time.
That's right. Good luck. Good thing that Corey Perry was on last year's team because I got a Corey Perry jersey loading, baby.
That is amazing. Can't
So
wait.
excited.
I also can't wait for you to tell me what's on the show today, Pete. Would you mind doing that for me, my friend?
I would love to do that for you. Today on the show, Wasatch with that? Because the Utah Hockey Club, wow, there's a plot twist in the name search, and Wasatch has entered the chat. Jacob Fowler, Boston College goaltender, Montreal Canadiens prospect,
Stud.
and just all around fun guy, cool guy, is going to join the show. We sat down with him at the Bauer Studios in New Hampshire earlier this week. Beanpot's coming up. It's going to be a big time, big weekend, big week ahead for Jacob Fowler. Very excited for you guys to see that chat. And why don't you tell him your favorite part of the why don't you tell him the favorite part of the chat? That's how you tweet about it.
Oh, I mean, this young man taught us an expression that seemingly didn't mean a lot to him. And I was editing this one and I was like, man, I really did not want to get off this. Once he brought up a line that him and his friends say to each other, and the next 18 questions were me pushing Pete out of the way, being like,
Yes.
we're staying on this topic.
I did know that in
They
the moment.
say this to each other?
Yeah.
They say this to each other. Boston College hockey players have an insult for each other that is so incredible. I kind of want to use it with you guys, but I also don't want to steal it from them.
No, we can steal it.
I would also say I don't think they use it for each other. It seems like
One person.
one person is the target of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. So they bully one player seemingly, but it seems to be, again, there are a lot of clarifying questions about this thing they say to each other. And it seems like it's all okay and above board,
Mhm.
but wait till you hear it. You are going to be like, that is the finest burn I've heard in my entire life. So stay tuned for that.
Next, we have Captain Crunch. I believe that is in relation to the Four Nations captains being named today. And that does work because there's also a time crunch.
Yes.
We do a show today from 12 to 1.
Exactly.
And USA does not name their captains until 1 p.m. Maybe we'll get to announce those live on the show. We will not be announcing the Canada captains who are announced at 2 p.m.
I wonder who it's going to be.
Oh, boy. Okay. And finally, money. Why are we talking about money?
Every now and then you just got to talk about money.
Money talks.
We talk about money.
Money speaks for itself. Money talks.
The body keeps the score.
Okay.
Trash takes itself out every time.
That's right.
The dumbest expression anyone has ever said in their fucking lives.
Trash famously does not take
Trash
itself out.
does not take itself out, Taylor Swift. I understand that you've always had a lot more money than the rest of us, but don't tell your fans who have to take out trash that it takes itself out. Do you know how many cockroaches there are going to be in homes because people are under the impression that the trash is just going to take itself out? Very dumb. The reason we're talking about money, Brandon Saad is just like giving up a whole bunch of money. And it turns out Nikita Zadorov's money situation with the Vancouver Canucks was a little funny. As I said, it sounds like I'm accusing him of doing something illegal.
Money laundering.
We got a little update more from Jim Rutherford on all that went down with the Canucks the last year. And one of the details involving Nikita Zadorov in that contract negotiation, very, very interesting.
Well, now my mind is just stuck on like, who are the top 5 players that wouldn't surprise you if they were into money laundering? I feel like Nikita Zadorov could be in that list.
I don't know. Nikita Zadorov is like strikes me as a stand-up guy off the ice. Like not has morals, I should say.
Well, I mean, we'll get to it later in the show, but there's some funny business going on with how that contract negotiation
he
was
lied
handled.
a little bit, but
oh yeah, big stand-up guy. we're going to talk about how he's a liar later in the show. But TJ,
if anyone should know that Nikita Zadorov is a big stand-up guy, it's you.
That is true.
When he stood up next to you, he was big.
That's true.
No, that's a good question. I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions, but that's something that maybe the chat can speculate on. Okay, let us begin with the Utah Hockey Club dropping their pursuit of the name Yeti. And if you want to get caught up on all this really quick, they had all their finalists for team names. One of them was Yeti. A lot of people thought it would be the favorite. And recently we learned that the trademark application for Yeti was rejected because Utah Hockey Club would be putting Yeti on t-shirts, on bags, and everything, just like the Yeti Cooler Company does. So there were issues there. And it seems that Utah Hockey Club was like, oh, I understand trademark office. We'll be right back. We'll just go talk to Yeti and they're going to say it's cool. And it seems Yeti coolers were like, no.
Yeah.
You can't sell t-shirts that say Yeti in big print. So here we are. Yesterday we learned that there are 3 remaining finalists. They are the Utah Hockey Club, Clubbers, Utah Mammoth, and a newcomer, the Utah Wasatch. Is that what it is, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen this before. I thought it was a typo from Frank Saravalli, which is where I learned the news, and was like, oh no. If Frank saw another insider do a misspelling like this, Frank would be cooking them, and it would be my favorite part of the day. And I clicked, and I was like, Frank's never made a mistake in his life. That is what he said. It's Wasatch.
Yep, that's right. And you better be careful what you say. Jesus. You better be careful about what you say about Frank because he has it out for podcasters.
Oh, does he now?
Yeah, do you see? He fucking torched. What was Breaking Curfew? I sent you the tweet yesterday. Mark Spector threw some like real shade at the Breaking Curfew guys.
Is that I thought it was the Cam and Strick. Wait, was this over?
This was the Upshaw and Shane O'Brien podcast.
We know them famously from the film Minor Leaguer.
Curfew, sorry. Yes, the minor leaguer guys. Yes.
Sounds like Pete's the one throwing shade at podcasters.
I apologize.
Know your rosters, bro.
No disrespect intended. Can't say the same for Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli, who tag teamed them to take them down and be like Spit and Chicklets wannabes.
Ooh.
Tough scene.
Interesting. Okay. 3 remaining team names: Utah Hockey Club, Wasatch, and Utah Mammoth. My gut reaction, these are going to be chosen via a fan vote at games. So I've been chatting with some season ticket holders that we met in Utah. Yeah. I just keep up with those people because the Utah hockey thing is very interesting.
Good vibes.
They seem to be on the side of we want Mammoth. They're upset that Yeti isn't happening. I personally am okay with where things stand right now.
Yeah. I think I'm fine with it. I wish Yeti was in the mix. Like, I wish you weren't pushed out of the Yeti conversation. And it's also worth noting too that 3 team names, only 2 logos, because Hockey Club and Wasatch are going to use the exact same branding if they're chosen. And it's essentially a Yeti. Like, they're just transferring the Yeti logo and branding that they would have used for that team onto Hockey Club and Wasatch. So I feel like I feel like Wasatch is going to win. I have this sneaking feeling because it's like the new cool kid on the block and people will be maybe excited about it. And like, it doesn't have a lot of local appeal or national appeal, but it does possibly locally.
I saw that and confirmed that was actually what they meant to write down, and I was drawn to it so like a laser. I don't know what maybe it was just because I saw something new and that it didn't have what a lot of these other options that have been thrown out have, which is that sounds a little create-a-teamy, and that sounds a little AI. Yeah. Sounds like an NPC team name. Wasatch, I've never heard that in my life.
Never heard it in my life.
Seemingly, Sean's going to fill us in on it in a little bit, if he can. Seemingly, it means something. I don't know what it means. I don't care what it means. I said, I moved that above Mammoth. I think my leader in the clubhouse still, Utah Hockey Club, although I will reiterate what I tweeted last night. Like once a week, I feel we have a conversation about the importance of keeping the fan base as clubbers.
I want to keep the team, I want the team to be named the Clubbers. I want that to be the official nickname of the Utah Hockey Club. I want it to be the Utah Clubbers. I've said this on the show, paying homage to the original name while also being able to have your Yeti branding. As long as he's holding a club or they're holding a club, you get to be the Clubbers, and it makes sense.
The only problem with the Clubbers is something that someone in the chat pointed out a while ago, is that like kind of has the implication of clubbing baby seals.
So what? One of their team names in the running was Outlaws, literally just criminals. Named after criminals.
Outlaws,
that's fine though.
Are doing, like, buckle up.
I mean,
Outlaws they run the gamut.
You have Predators. Like, if Predators was in the running for a team name right now, we'd be like, well, you can't name them that because it has the implication of being with like pedophiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Senators famously break the law and do terrible things a lot.
Senators don't even go to Wisconsin.
Not those kind of senators.
There's a team in Washington named after the Capitol that was stormed a while back.
Tell us more about that.
You can twist it any way you want.
Except for all of those things were named those things before those names changed meanings.
I think Predators has long existed. When the Nashville Predators came into the league, there was a TV show called To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, but
no, they're Predators. Predators were that was like 14 years later.
I don't know how to say it. Predators were not as mainstream in that sense as they are now.
Yeah, we
are Predators having a moment?
No, we did not call people Predators until there's some things that, being an older gentleman, I have a perspective of like, oh, I bet you think this has always gone on. No, this just started happening. For example, empathy is like, we're still like, in recent years, we've been trying to figure out how to like get into empathy and do that. We're doing a horrible job. Predators? I never heard a person referred to as a predator until To Catch a Predator. And I was like, what's that? Oh, that's that show's about?
What's that? Chat. Very expectedly saying I know a lot about January 6th because I was there. Listen, it's called Boots on the Ground. It's called reporting.
Right. It's called reporting. Yeah. You notice we like to do our guests in person. Those are usually a little better than
Brendan's also making a good point. The Capitol itself didn't do anything. It's not like you named them just like the Washington Stormers. Like,
what was it wearing that day?
I don't know how to respond to that.
What was it wearing that day? Pete Blackburn on the Capitol building on January 6th. Interesting. Okay. I go Utah Hockey Club. Still top choice, but I think Wasatch is second. I'm okay with any of these results, though. Sean, what are your thoughts?
I'm a Mammoth guy. I mean, Utah Hockey Club is still fun. I'm not a fan of Wasatch just because I think it gives a little kind of minor league vibes, and I feel like it's something that's going to be kind of butchered and mispronounced by the masses at large. And I also hate that stupid sound, so I don't like the idea of that becoming a thing either.
Do you know what that is, Sean?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
Everybody knows what that is.
I don't know if
what is. Sorry, I blanked.
The "was up" sound.
Oh yeah, I hope everybody knows what that is because that is an iconic commercial. I am fully out on Utah Hockey Club. I know that may upset you guys. I'm fully out on it. I need a team name. I really do. You can't be the only team in the NHL named the Utah, like the Hockey Club.
But then that's your thing.
I don't know. I kind of like every league having one of those teams.
I don't.
I want the Washington football team back. I don't mind Hockey Club. Plus, you can just call them the Clubbers.
But if you're going to call them the Clubbers, just call them the Clubbers. But
again, it's Clubbers is fun because like Clubbers in a vacuum is kind of a lame name. But calling a fan base the Clubbers because it's the hockey team, the same way I call the Washington Commanders the Commies, like that's fun.
But what's a better team name? The Commanders or Football Club?
Commanders, because it's a team.
No, football team. I like calling them the football team.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, I like commies. I like Commanders because I get to call them the commies.
Well, I know why Pete likes the Commanders better though. Pete was so pissed when people wanted them to change the original name.
That's right.
Pete was a big supporter of that.
Well, I don't know how that's going to make you feel about the Wasatch once we get into the meaning behind it.
Oh, I'm excited to find that out.
Sean, tell us what Wasatch is.
Before we do that, I just want to say the main reason why I wouldn't want Wasatch to be the team name is because people are going to ask, as like the hockey person in a lot of people's lives, I'm going to face the question, what the hell is a Wasatch? So many times.
That's why I don't like it. I think it's a little too abstract for especially a team that's like trying to grow a fan base and stuff like that. I don't think it'll work.
I will note this. If it were not for sports, I think that people who don't follow sports even casually, there's a lot of people in the world who do not know what a Bruin is. We would not know what a Bruin was if it weren't for the Boston Bruins and the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, but it's so familiar. Like it's one of those things where you may not know that you don't know what it is, but you just accept its place in like the lexicon of your life.
And it was also named that like 100 years ago.
Right. So Bruin is a thing where like, yeah, even if you don't know what a sports is, you don't follow sports, you've probably heard of the Boston Bruins. But there are so many things that we're used to, but we would only know that we only know because of sports.
Yeah, but I don't think you can. I
still don't know what a kraken is.
Do you actually?
You do?
Yeah, you do.
It's like a sea monster?
It's a mythical like giant squid, basically.
Now I know what it is.
Exactly. But you just accepted it, and I don't think that people are gonna accept Wasatch.
Yeah,
because it's so like it's
abstract.
So new and abstract. Yeah,
I agree 100%.
What it reminds me of is you know about wassailing.
Wassailing?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Back in my Madrigals days, there was like a old song that was like, it was wassail all over the town. Our horse it is red and our ale it is brown. And I believe it was just about like merrymaking, just like carousing. If there was a team that was like, if it means that, if it means like a bunch of drunks, as long as everyone's under control, I like that team name.
Still think it should be the Utah Hive.
Hive?
Ugh, gross.
Yes, it's the beehive state.
Ugh.
That rocks.
Gross.
It's a thing, and bees are not. The only problem with Utah Hive is that you have a little bit of a run-in with Stinger, what you do with the mascot there.
That's true. I don't know much about the Wasatch. So, Sean, can you please tell us what the hell Wasatch means.
So it is a Ute word. Ute is the native population in Utah. So it is, old meanings, but it is it means either mountain pass or low place and high mountains is kind of the translation of it, and it is the name of a part of the mountain range there. So it's not all that exciting, but I do absolutely love the idea of leaning into something important to the native population, because I think native populations in this country get erased entirely. It's not even like they get erased entirely. So I like the idea of kind of tipping the hat there, but I just don't think it's going to work as a name in general, because that meaning is going to kind of get lost.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not like that's it basically. It's an old Ute word.
I love everything that you said. Initially, I was concerned that I'm like, is he just saying it's ground? But the more information we got, I'm into that. But I never started out on this. I was always into the Wasatch thing. For the entire 11 hours I've heard that word, I've thought that's the second best of these options.
I like that it basically forces the team to include mountains into their branding, which maybe that's their plan regardless. Like if they're going to use the same branding for Wasatch and Hockey Club's probably going to be including mountains. I don't know if that would be the plan for Mammoth, but I do like, we talk about when we went to the pro shop in Utah with Utah Hockey Club, a lot of our favorite merch had to do with the mountain branding that they put on it. So I am a fan of that, because if it is directly tied to the mountains, it has to be there.
Yeah.
The chat is breathlessly saying it is not Wasatch.
It's Wasatch.
It's Wasatch, and we've been saying it wrong.
But that proves my point. That's why it won't work as a team name, because
it's Wasatch.
It's Wasatch, and we're saying Wasatch.
Well,
you don't know something until you know it.
Earlier this morning, when I did a DFO show with Frank Cervalli,
what's it called?
The DFO rundown.
Okay.
I kept calling them the Wasquatch. So
on purpose, or
not on purpose.
Oh.
I called the Kraken and the Karen for the first 8 years.
Wasquatch was like a hybrid of Wasatch and Sasquatch, which basically is going to be the branding.
I mean, I think it is quite obviously going to end up being the Utah Mammoth.
I think so too. And
how can you say that?
I have a reason.
How can she say that?
I don't know what you're trying to do.
What? I'm just saying.
Hockey Club and Wasatch. People who like Hockey Club will probably also like Wasatch, and people who like Wasatch will probably also like Hockey Club, and they're going to split the votes.
Oh.
They have the same. They have the same logo.
Wasatch is the RFK of the.
Absolutely. They're going to split the votes, and Mammoth is going to win. That is my guess.
The RFK comparison's not great, because the guy he was stealing votes from still won. But
all I'm saying is you're going to get. Can you vote twice? By the way, because they're going to be doing this at 4 different games.
I voted twice in 2020. I voted 8 times
for Jill Stein.
Yeah,
that's right. I feel like that's a pretty good question. Can you vote twice if you're a season ticket holder?
Clubbers till we die. Please tell me. I'm also DMing with one of our with Professor Superfin23 on Twitter.
Wasatch.
How many times can you vote?
We got a super chat from Clubbers till you die too, saying that us mispronouncing Wasatch is his Roman Empire. Go Mammoth. Tusks up kind of rocks.
Tusks up is very good. But you can do all of that. Again, no matter what you're called as a team, call yourselves the Clubbers as fans. And no matter what the team is called, if they're called the Utah Hockey Club, just say Tusks up. You have such a clean slate, a blank canvas on which to draw whatever you would like.
I'm a brand guy. I'm like a brand cohesion guy. I want things to make sense, and I want them to make sense even if you don't have a whole lot of information. And you're going too many places there. If you're a Utah Hockey Club, or if you're like the Wasatch and you call them the Clubbers and you still do Tusks up, there's too much going on.
Banjo in the chat says if it ends up being Wasatch, it's because Ryan Smith chose it and not the people. So I guess my theory was incorrect.
Wasatch.
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 Oh. This is too confusing.
But again, my point is being made by this confusion.
If we have to work through like 4 hurdles to be able to pronounce the name, they're kind of losing.
This is a skill issue.
Wasatch.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a skill issue. Oh, but you're saying
that's my point.
To assume people don't have skill.
Yeah, I'm going to assume
You don't
that
have skill. You didn't get it right either.
99.9.
I am okay with that.
That's
you don't
not
get
good.
it right until you know it.
I
But
think
that's
if
not good for a
everybody has
brand.
the skill issue initially, then it's a problem.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
So
a
then should
terrible
we
decision.
die when we can't walk when we're born?
Well, I don't
You
know.
learn things.
What other team name do you really have to work through being able to pronounce?
You learned all of them when you were 3 years old, which is when you have everything immersed and you learn easier.
No,
it's
if
harder to
you're a-
learn
if
as an
you're
adult
an-
than as a young person.
If you're an
Why
adult,
am I the smartest person here suddenly?
No, if you're an adult
you're
and you
totally
see,
wrong.
I'm a dumbass.
here.
yeah, I 100% agree with Pete. If
It
you're an
has to be
adult
phonetic,
and
like,
you see the Chicago Blackhawks, there's no, is it the Blackhawks? Like, no, you know instantly that's the Blackhawks. Doesn't matter who you are or how old you are. You're not, like, at least 50% of people are going to mispronounce this team name anytime they see it.
Every
and that's
time.
bad branding.
Yeah.
So should Paul Mescal retire because everyone calls him Paul Mezcal?
That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
That's somebody's name
like,
that they were born with. Not somebody. If he was choosing a brand, he wouldn't name it something that is not purposefully, but is confusing.
You're acting like actors haven't constantly chosen stage names that are more phonetic to what they want, like what their name is, like Louis C.K.
I will say I'll accept not doing Wasatch for whatever reason you want. I will not accept. I don't think people. No, well, Satch is on. I believe the emphasis is on the second syllable.
It's on the first
syllable.
Wasatch. Okay,
Wasatch.
I will not accept. I don't think people will be able to learn this.
That's like
It's not that
it's
they
like a
won't be able to learn
branding
it.
101 thing. If you're creating confusion with the brand instantly, that's only bad for you. There's no benefits for it.
What do you think that once people start hearing it, they'll have an easier time?
If they hear it, but they're going to see it and not know how to pronounce it, and it's going to create confusion amongst the brand.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like once it enters the lexicon, like what you were saying, like it will be more recognizable. But you're talking about a window in which there is mass confusion, and like hockey fans will learn it pretty quickly. But there will be people for years and years and years just finding out about this team and how to pronounce their name.
Yeah, and I just think that's terrible for a team that's trying to build a fan base and like national and global recognition. Having confusion about it is only bad.
Caramel's just got to fold up shop.
There is an alternate.
But
Both are right.
Yeah, both are right ways to spell it. This is a
Caramel and caramel are
a
both
native
right.
word that if you are pronouncing it a different way than the way it's pronounced, you are wrong.
I gotta say, me and Sean are kicking your ass.
I
in this
disagree.
debate.
Oh, I just think
There's
that
been
you're
a
being a little
strong
more narrow-minded.
counter-argument. From every argument that you're making, there's a stronger counter argument.
not
I think
narrow-minded.
you're excited to be narrow-minded about this.
It's not about being narrow-minded. It's about knowing how branding works. And if people are not understanding how to pronounce the name, that's bad. That can only be bad.
Phonetic incompetence is the worst bit yet. I'll say, and I know that you just excitedly did the like we're winning the argument thing. That's not what it looked like in the chat.
Latest comment is
say in
TJ
the
Big
chat,
wrong.
People are agreeing with us.
Okay,
Clubbers Till We Die is strong, and Pop Quiz, who are both Utah people, are strongly anti-Wasatch.
You can be anti it,
but for the reasons we're saying is why they disagree or why they agree with us.
I
Now
just
I-
have a
now
little
I
more
want-
faith in humanity than you do.
I want Wasatch, whatever it is. I want it to win now because I want the chaos of it.
Anyway, before you started blabbing I went like this when you were talking for like 9 minutes straight because I was trying to interject that we do have an update on voting.
Oh,
which was they don't have a limit. So this person voted yesterday, will vote again tomorrow. It just depends on how often you want to stay in line. The line is pretty big. This person also agrees with my side of the argument, but that's neither here nor there.
Anytime there's a voting happening, stay in line.
Yeah, I was going to say, they need volunteers there handing out
Yeah.
bottles of water.
Stay
being
in
like,
line.
No, they cannot kick you out.
Okay. Oh, and that's another point. Like any discourse is good discourse. if there is a conversation of how do you pronounce the new team name, that's more talk about it than you would get from if it was called the Mammoth.
I will say I didn't expect this fiery of a conversation, and for 30 minutes, that point does hold some weight.
What?
That
It'll get me talking about it.
Discourse, yeah.
I still think that the branding, like, I just don't think creating confusion amongst a brand that you're trying to grow is a good idea at all.
I mean, there's pros and cons to all of this. I am simply de-emphasizing the idea that if there's a question on how to pronounce it, it's not worth doing, because there are so many things. We're talking about the English language, which is rife with mispronunciations, rife with confusion. If it's a thing no one's seen before,
the English
they're
language.
not going to know it, and then they will know it, like we do with everything.
And I do agree with Stacey Faye, like being anti something because you don't understand it is a choice. And I agree with that. Unfortunately, the time in which we live in, that is a choice that a lot of people make.
I don't think you get to do that, though, after your argument was just based on being one of those people, which I guess you can be one of those people.
It's not about not understanding it personally. It's about acknowledging the fact that
From
this
a business
conversation
perspective,
proves the fact that people are not going to know it or understand it immediately, which is bad for business.
I am willing to learn and I am willing to accept Wasatch. I've already said
Yeah.
that I'm cool with it.
Wasatch.
Fuck, god damn it. Maybe I'm not cool with it. Wasatch, I just think from a business perspective and from a branding perspective, it is maybe not the smartest choice given the difficulties attached to it.
I think that there will be difficulties. I'm not painting this with broad strokes. I'm one of three people not painting it with broad strokes.
I also think this conversation is going to ultimately be pointless because I think it's going to finish third.
I agree. I think it's going to be Mammoth.
The only thing I don't like about Mammoth is that Mammoth is the name of a lacrosse team in Colorado. And so it's like they're kind of jacking their swag.
I'm rooting very hard for Wasatch now.
Wasatch.
Just based off of how much difficulty I've had learning about this.
Got to get a Wawa sponsorship. I know they don't really exist out there. But
I'm interested if it ends up being it, and I agree, Pete, it's not going to be. But
what
if it is?
I said it was going to.
You said you're rooting for it to be, but you don't think it's going to be.
I didn't say that.
I said that.
Oh, shut up. Sorry. I agree that it probably won't be, but I want to see it just to see how little of an issue this is. Like, I do not think the hockey world is going to burn down because people mispronounce something for.
I don't think it's going to burn down.
The hockey world burns down every day for much smaller reasons.
I don't think it's going to hurt the team.
I don't think it's going to hurt the team. That's not my point. It's more that it is not going to be nearly as effective as the other ones will be. I think Mammoth just makes Mammoth is a mascot. That's just the kind of thing you name a team.
Mammoth is the most AI, NPC, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it literally exists as a sports name already. So like, it's
the closest.
It's the least creative, that's for sure.
I'm not crazy about it, but I like it way better than Yeti.
Yeah, and it's got cool branding opportunity, and it's the closest to dinosaurs.
And that mascot will rock.
Yeah, it's the closest to dinosaurs, which they should have been the Utah Raptor. That would have rocked.
Raptors.
Utah Raptor would have been good.
I say Raptors, but yes, I agree.
No, I like it being a singular Raptor.
Because the Utah Raptor was a thing. Like a specific type of raptor.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I think of Raptor singular, and I think of the truck.
So, all right. We done with Utah conversation?
Yes. Let's go Utah Hockey Club.
Wasatch.
Can't believe how contentious that got. Okay, hit the ice this hockey season with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. I've been DFSing quite a bit of late, and I have a lovely time using Prize Picks. I say it all the time. It's like the glass of wine that accompanies a good meal. The game is the meal. Prize Picks, that's your nice little thing that you enjoy while you're doing it. It just enhances it just ever so slightly. It's a good time. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. That makes it easy. It's the best place to get real money sports action. You can join 10 million users, more than 10 million users, when you sign up today. I hope that you will do it, because if you do, you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today and use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Today's podcast also brought to you by our good friends at Bauer. We went to Bauer's headquarters in New Hampshire this week to record the Jacob Fowler interview, sit down that you're going to hear in just a few minutes. But they also offered us some nice swag. We got some swag when we visited there.
Always.
And boy, did it rock. And boy, can you find some of it on the Bauer sale page at Bauer.com. And it's absolutely worth going there to check it out. They've got some great deals going on incredible apparel and products, including skates, sticks, protective gear, for players of all levels. So head there, go to the Bauer sale page tab, and you'll find 30% off Nexus Sync and Easton S17 sticks, 40% off select skates, 25% off select helmets, and 50% off select apparel styles and collabs. Big fans of the stuff that they got going on there, whether it's their gear or their apparel. We got fitted for skates, might be getting some brand new blades at some point soon. Very excited for that.
Spoiler, Sean has the best feet out of the three of us.
No, I have.
Actually, no.
Most unique feet.
No, you had the most unique
Yeah,
feet.
that is
I
true.
actually had the best feet.
You have
right?
the most average feet, which...
He was like...
Well, I think he said Pete's were the best feet because he had the same size feet. as
Right.
Pete.
He said whoever with the... I won't reveal feet sizes, but like whoever had the blank has like maybe the most like human foot or
Yes.
something. He was like
accessible.
that guy with the small one. He was like, I like that guy better.
Yeah,
Mine's
that's
tough.
right.
Mine were tough.
Sean's got some narrow feet. Not
You do have
No, I
narrow
have
feet.
not narrow feet. I have like shallow feet. Like
And
the-
yes, no, but they're also
Flat feet?
very narrow.
No,
flat feet?
not fleet. I don't have flat feet. I have like a very high arch. So like I
Oh.
had different soles than you guys, or insoles than you guys too, for more arch support.
Does your feet have Wasatch?
Sure.
Isn't it like the low point and like a high range?
Oh,
Well-
Kirk Avery, best chat in the world.
It's the opposite. I have the mountain range because I have the high arch. You guys have the Wasatch.
What is Kirk Avery's chat?
Utah Woo-Ha got you all in check. What do you know about that?
I don't know anything
It's a
about that.
Busta Rhymes song.
But I do know about the Bauer sale. Go to Bauer.com, hit the sale page, and use code FREESHIPWC for free shipping on your order. It's courtesy of us because we love you and we love Bauer. And Bauer is presenting what, Deej?
In 8 seconds, Jacob Fowler, I want to do one last tiny update. BIH Banjo says every local news station and media person ran a poll yesterday after the announcement, and Mammoth was, and we're estimating here, 80% plus in all of the polls.
Oh, wow.
People are making a good point that ultimately our confusion about how to pronounce it won't matter because the people voting on it know how to pronounce it because they're from there.
Ah,
So that
No, I know, but our conversation was
I-
about if they won.
yeah,
the
I was
vote.
just saying more about like the me thinking it doesn't have a chance of winning.
Yeah.
I guess that's not necessarily true. And also, Wooly is way better than Mammoth.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. 100%.
Utah Woolly?
Yeah,
Yes.
that rocks.
Ugh.
Yes.
That rocks.
That stinks, baby.
Okay, here is Boston College goaltender and Canadiens prospect Jacob Fowler. We're at Bauer with Jacob Fowler, Boston College goaltender, Montreal Canadiens prospect. I'm going to get this out of the way. It's the worst question in the world. Were your friends immature about your draft position?
Not as much my friends. I'd say my dad was probably the main culprit on that one.
Where were you picked?
I was the 69th overall pick in 2023.
Okay.
Your dad enjoyed that more than anybody?
I don't know. It's just, I think when you're kind of sitting there and you're looking at the board, obviously, you're just looking up there. And then when my name got called and my dad looked and saw the number, he was kind of first to make a joke after we kind of soaked it all in. But kind of just a funny thing to always look back and definitely never forget what number you were.
This is our first time at Bauer, and it is absolutely insane. How like you've been here a bunch, I take it.
This is my first time actually in the studio.
In this studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did the Bauer Combine and everything. What was that like?
Yeah, it was super cool. Obviously, to be around a bunch of the other Bauer athletes was probably the best part, but just the whole family and community of Bauer is pretty special, and really happy to be a part of it.
You got some time with Vasilevsky, right? Like, what did you pull from him?
Yeah, he's elite. Just a really special person, but just a super nice guy, pretty down to earth, and being on the ice with him, you get to see kind of the tools that he has and why he's been so dominant over these past few years.
We were just talking to Ryan Leonard about keeping up with the Capitals and just the insane season that they're having. You also have been drafted by such a fun team. Do you watch the Canadiens much, or are you just kind of focusing on your current gig?
No, yeah, I definitely follow them for sure, and they've been on a tear as of late, and it's fun to see. Obviously, know a couple of the guys there, and I've been a fan of the Canadiens before I even got drafted there, so it's cool to see the run they're having.
You're pretty familiar locally with Lane Hudson, and what's the kind of scouting report on what he's been able to do at the NHL level in Montreal? You got to be excited to possibly be a teammate with him in a couple of years or whenever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing against Lane since I was really young, and he's always just been one of those players you're just like kind of blown away every time he has the puck on his stick, and to kind of see the seamless kind of jump that he's had to the NHL level has been pretty cool to see, and got to play with him a bit last year, and excited to maybe getting the chance to again one day.
I know you have another game before then, but like your Boston College and the Beanpot is on Monday, and the team hasn't won recently. Like, what is the mindset like? And I guess just like the preparation. Like, is that a thing that it's always circled at the beginning of the year, but as the days and weeks get closer, are you like, we cannot and will not lose this?
Especially as somebody from Florida, like what did the Beanpot even like mean to you coming here? Were you aware of it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely knew kind of what it was, but I think, the Beanpot's kind of one of those things that when you go to any of the four schools that are in it, you always have that kind of circled there because, it's a championship you get to play for in season that's bigger than all the kind of icebreaker tournaments or just mid-season tournaments you can play in. That, the city pride and school pride that you get from playing in it, and to get the chance to win it would be incredible. And I think for us, as much as you want to look ahead to the second Monday, you gotta take care of business the first night. And Northeastern's been really good in the Beanpot always, and play the defending champs the first night's definitely gonna be a good test.
How do you feel about the marching bands?
I like it. I think when we score, at least it's nice to hear our school song playing, and I think it's kind of a cool thing. We don't really have a goal song at BC. It's more of you hear the horn and then you hear our fight song go on. So I think that's kind of a cool thing with the bands.
Do you pay attention to which songs they play? Because I would go to the Beanpot as a kid, and especially once you get all the marching bands in there and they're doing all the different things, it's a big distraction. Do you listen to any of that stuff? Do you pay attention to it, or are you just insanely locked in?
I mean, I'm pretty locked in during games, but obviously depending on the song, you kind of hear it in the background, and it's kind of hard not to want to sing it along to it. But for the most part, you're pretty locked in, and it depends on the song. You'll hear it.
What's the player marching band relationship like? Like, do you all know who each other are? Do you take classes together? Because you're all kind of rowing in the same direction.
As of last year, I think as we kept going down our run, we were together more. Obviously, like the regional last year was when students were on break a little bit. That the band was nice enough that they came with us on the trip down to Providence, and I wouldn't say we know them all super personally, but definitely have classes with them. You're always around them. That it's pretty cool to see the impact they have in the games as we hear them on the ice.
Who has the bigger ego, the average hockey player or the average marching band member?
See, like I don't think
because
I know.
Like if they kill it, like if they're on a run where they're like, you know what, we've been like doing a lot of, I don't know, like Sabrina Carpenter songs, and everyone's really feeling us. These guys aren't scoring goals. It might get to their head.
That's a tough question, but I will say like kind of what you were just talking about. Like it's pretty cool. Like when you're on the ice, that when the band's playing, that the students are singing along to the band. I think that's kind of a cool part. Like there's always gonna be different songs over the speakers that'll get the students going, but I think one of the coolest things is when they're playing a certain song and all the students will then keep singing it during the game because the band's got to stop, but the students will keep singing.
What's the toughest building or crowd to deal with on the road?
Whew. I mean, there's definitely a bunch. Obviously, being a goalie, it's never easy to play on the road, but I think the hardest building I've played in was probably Maine. Playing up there, it was pretty tough. The students are right on top of you, don't give you really a chance to breathe. And it's pretty early in my career, college last year, and my mom's name was getting chanted in warm-ups. So it's definitely not the easiest building to play in, and we didn't have the best results there, but definitely Orono.
They chanted your mom's name?
Yeah, it was, you always hear kind of rumors about different chirps or stuff fans might say, but hearing my mom's name chanted during warm-ups was not really on my my bingo card there.
Do you have to like scrub your like internet presence and like information as much as you possibly can before hitting one of those buildings? Because I assume that like other students would do research and try to get under your skin or like find pictures or whatever it may be that you don't want like on a poster board or whatever it is.
I mean, I personally try to stay off social media. Like, I don't really like to
Smart.
be on it too much. Don't get wrapped up into it. But, when you get to this level, there's always going to be stuff on the internet of you, and you try to keep it as clean as you can. And people will still find a way to, turn some pictures of you into some funny billboards. But it's all good fun. There's nothing really too bad. It's just kind of playful.
Is the goalies are weird thing over? I feel like it is. Like, did that even exist when, you're 20 years old? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say goalies are weird? Is that stereotype still going on? Because I feel like it's kind of dead or dying.
I don't know. I never really got too wrapped up into it. I've always played goalie and forward, so I was always like, you call me weird, I'm only half weird because I play both. But, I definitely think goalies definitely have their kind of odd routines and tendencies, but I only have a couple of those little quirks, so I wouldn't say I'm weird, but I definitely have my goalie moments.
You definitely have more, and I'm not saying that one's better than the other, but you have more forward energy than you do goaltender, just like personality-wise, it seems. So what are the kind of traditional goalie quirks you have?
I've heard a bunch of them. Like a bunch of goalies like to be alone or kind of get left alone on game days when I'm kind of the opposite. I kind of try not to think about the game as much as possible. That really until my pregame routine starts, it's kind of just a normal day. So whatever that could be to just, be a kid and hang out with your teammates, not think about, we just had the Battle of Comm Ave. It's a pretty big weekend. So the last thing you want to do is be thinking about a 60-minute game longer than 60 minutes. So kind of just keep it playful and light and play the game when you get on the ice.
You ever miss playing forward?
Oh, I still never like in practice or anything, but we have the ice open pretty much all the time, and I still go out and play forward quite a bit.
At the combine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably in the shooting room, probably top 3 most minutes on our team right now in the shooting room. So I love to kind of just mess around and do it because I think that's kind of where I started the love for the game, and I still play both, but just stuck to goalie.
Goalies are scoring too many goals these days. Yeah. It's becoming like a no-hitter where it used to be really cool, and now it happens. It used to mean something. Now it happens every 5 minutes. How do you feel about, because you could score as a forward, just abstaining from that whole endeavor and search? Just be like, once you turn pro, be like, hey everybody, just so you know, I'm not even trying for it. So don't ask for it. I could score if I wanted to, but I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Like, I couldn't give you the exact headline, but there's actually a goalie in college this year that went and transferred to play, I want to say in the ACHA as a forward. And all the boys were joking that, obviously I'm not going to leave BC mid-year, but, I've always wanted to play forward. I goalie in Michigan a couple years ago dressed as a forward for a game, that it was like just kind of a cool thing that not very many guys do both. I definitely couldn't play college hockey as a forward yet, but maybe a couple more trainings.
Whatever your version of a senior day is going to be, even if you don't quite make it to a senior day, just be like, hey, coach, this is my senior day. What do you say?
I'm playing out.
Yeah, left wing.
How many goals do you think you could score on Leonard's line playing a full season at BC?
Scoring like against him, like if they were playing goalie or just them?
No, like you're
if
playing
you were
on his
forward
line. Like you're on Leonard's line. How many goals you scoring
I
over
just
a full season?
sit at the front of the net and hopefully they shoot it off me or something. Just as long as you get one maybe, but those guys are just unbelievable. Probably just stay out of their way as much as anything.
Do your forwards feel any sort of pressure to perform well in front of you because you're probably thinking, I can do this. I'm just choosing to play goalie instead.
I don't know if it's much of that as much as it's, we kind of have a joke going to different games. It's like, you guys up there do your job. I'll find a way to just make one more save on the back end. And, I think you make one more save every night, you'll win a lot of hockey games. So I don't care if it's 10-9 or 1-0 like we had a couple nights ago. It's just they do their job, I'll do mine. And I think it kind of what makes our team so great.
So other than the obvious reason that you're very good at it, why do you play goalie?
I fell in love with it right away. I think my parents didn't really want me to play goalie right away. My dad picked up hockey late and played forward, that it was like, I learned to skate at 2. Like, it was kind of a known thing I was going to be a hockey player. And when I was playing house league, I was either 4 or 5. I was still so competitive and hated losing so much that I think we were losing and my goalie was playing terrible. And I started yelling at my dad who was coaching, that was like our goalie's so bad. Like, I don't want to play. I don't want to lose. Like, I didn't care if we didn't score. I was just like, you get scored on in my head if I went and played. And was fascinated with the pads and everything. And once they went on, they kind of never came off. I played goalie and forward. I'd always play my age group as a forward and then a year or 2 up as a goalie. And until I was around 8, I didn't really have to switch full time. So that was when it really got real.
So I've never heard that. So it's control.
That's a funny origin story, because like, you're getting mad at the guy and you're like, I want that position. And I get it from your perspective, but like, that the goalie is the first person that everybody looks to and yells at when shit goes wrong. And you're like, I want that job.
Not when I was 5. Like, I didn't know that, but still, definitely looking back on it, maybe it's like, maybe I wish I would have played forward a little more, but I love it. I kind of love the goalie kind of has an impact on the game, because win or lose, it's not like a team's going to have 0 shots. So I like having that kind of control of the game, whereas a forward, you got to sit on the bench and kind of watch for more than half the game, that it's, I get to be out there for the whole time, which is pretty fun.
What's the worst goal you've ever given up? Like, what's the most shame you've ever felt?
This is actually a really funny story. Another Bauer guy. I was in the brick tournament when I was 9 or 10, and Rutherford McGroarty was trying to ice the puck from behind his goal line. And the rink is in a mall with like a sunroof. And I totally lost the puck in the sun. And I thought it was going to go wide for icing. And I'm just standing there. I turn around and look, and it went in the net. So it was a full ice goal. And he scored it. And I think I got pulled right after. So it wasn't the most fun moment in my hockey career, but definitely something I'll never forget. And he won't either.
They pulled you right after that?
Yeah.
The brick tournament, if you don't know, folks, is a thing where a bunch of children get together and play hockey against other children. Well, fuck, that'll get you ready for the pros, I guess. Just stakes are stakes.
I mean, I want to say it was like 5 or 6-1 at that point when it went in, but it was still
You're like, there were others.
Kind of the backbreaker there.
Oh, unbelievable. Have there been any plays, I mean, while we're kind of having a laugh about mishaps, have there been any like plays with the puck or anything that have been particularly amusing?
I mean, I had one this weekend, actually. I get pretty antsy to play the puck up the ice a bit, and I like springing guys for breakaways and stuff, and sometimes I get a little too anxious on it. And
it's the forward in you.
I think I've had too many men on the ice penalties caused just from me throwing the puck up the wall this year. So we'll definitely cut that out of my game now. But just kind of that forward instincts in me that I just want to play offense, even from the net out.
One of our favorite plays was, who was it, Pete, in the Devils game? Akira Schmid. We were at a Blue Jackets game, and we've talked about this with every goalie we've had on, but there was a delayed penalty, and he was getting off the ice, and the puck was there, and he was like, yeah, might as well, and he played it and immediately got a penalty called for it.
Played it over the red line.
Have you ever had that temptation to be like, could make a play here, show the folks what I've got?
When I was in juniors, there was actually a couple of close calls, because I think the rule is just you can't play it across the red.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact rule because I don't really get out there much. But when I was in juniors, the puck kind of ran into me before a guy got on the ice. And I kind of had to play it and bump it back to a guy. Like, that was kind of one of those cool moments that I've never played the puck
I've never been out
above the blue line before as a goalie before. So that was kind of a cool moment.
But when you do that, I'm sure you're like, still got it.
Well, the coach is still like, it's kind of a rule you don't see in hockey much, that even they're sitting there like a little nervous. Hopefully I didn't take a penalty or anything stupid, but it worked out.
As you are a college kid, do you care much about fashion?
I'd definitely say more as of recent, but more with just kind of suits and dress clothes, like that stuff.
Okay. The reason I bring it up is because we are at Bauer, and I want to know if you'd seen the Kith collaboration.
I have seen it.
Which is insane. Have you gotten it?
I haven't.
Sean?
I've seen it though. I've seen some pictures of it. Oh my God.
That is from Bauer, but we decided that we would be the ones
We're
to
gonna
gift it to
steal
you.
Valor and give it to you.
These
And
are
so
sick.
you can thank us.
The stuff on the like print on the inside of the gloves are so nasty. It's so nasty.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got it everywhere on here.
Yeah.
These things are sick.
Are the pregame fits a big deal in college hockey? Pardon my ignorance.
A little bit, yeah. I think me and a couple of the guys are a little not competitive, but you know, that kind of hockey model of look good, feel good, play good is very true. And you know, I think the last couple of years I've got a little crazier and crazier with some of the suits that I wear, and other guys too, that we all kind of have good fun seeing what each other throw on coming to the rink.
I would imagine that like some guys get it pretty badly if they don't dress super well. Who's the main target for you guys?
No, it's not that he doesn't dress super well. We just have like a little joke, like
You're like, we just don't like this guy.
no, we all
reasons.
we all love him, but we always mess with him no matter how good he looks. It's you know what is it, dressed like an idiot day, and you know we love the kid. He could look unbelievable, best he's ever looked, but every time we see him, it's you know dressed like an idiot day for him. But
Who is it?
I'm writing that down. Dress like an idiot day.
it's my roommate. I don't want to throw him under the bus too bad, but he doesn't have bad style. Like he always looks good. It's just even if he's wearing the best outfit, we'll look out of it.
You're like, what we're doing is we're just messing with his psyche. He's doing nothing
No,
wrong.
he's unreal, and he kind of plays into it too. Like even if he sees me walk right into it, I know I look good. He'll say, "Oh, dress even dumber day." Like I'll feel like, "Oh yeah, like good one." My bad.
Pardon my ignorance. Is that the parlance these days? Is that how college kids talk to each other?
I promise we're like all like really good friends and nice teammates. It's just
No, but is that like the meanest thing you can come up with? Dress like an idiot?
well, I'm not
day?
gonna look at him and just say like, "Hey, like you dress terrible." I'll just be like, no matter how good he looks, I'll be like, "Oh, dress like an idiot day." Because there's some guys in our team with superstitions. Like on game days, they'll only wear like team apparel. Like they'll give us, we get team shoes at the beginning of every year, jacket, everything. And some guys have this weird thing because if we're on the road and they play good, well, when you go on the road, all you wear is team apparel. That they'll go around campus that whole day and team jumpsuit, shoes, everything. And the first time it was actually like, what, he dressed like an idiot day because he was wearing all team apparel. It was like, we're not going on the road, but kind of stuck. He scored our first 2 goals of the year. That, you know, whatever works for him. It's been playing well.
I love the idea of that, like hurting feelings and you two getting mad at each other. Like, hey, what's going on between you two? He said it was dressed like an idiot day, and I thought that I had dressed well.
It's definitely not as deep as that, but the first time I think it may have threw him off a bit.
I do gotta ask, you had your glory at the World Juniors, but how much FOMO did you have with the guys this year who got to go and double it back up?
I was super jealous. Obviously, like a bunch of the guys that are on the team, you're good friends with. Obviously, before the USA stuff, but when they went back this year, you know, you're more of a fan than a teammate at that point, and it was so cool to kind of take a step back. And we were on break, so to kind of get away from playing and to just sit there and watch that great hockey was really cool and a little weird at the same time to kind of see your teammates kind of wearing the same jersey you were in the year before, and to get a BC golden goal like that was awesome. And all those guys came back with kind of that winning mentality that we want down the stretch.
Any good stories that were brought back from Ottawa?
Well, I think one of the coolest parts was our whole team had to go back, the guys that weren't at World Juniors, December 29th, as like a mid-season kind of training camp to get back in shape for the second half. And so we were all there watching, we got to watch the New Year's Eve game together. Then all the other games we were all back at school watching, and we had kind of like a little team sort of watch party, and Teddy Stiga was scratched the first game, and all of us who've played with him all year were like, I don't know about that. Like, is he hurt? Like something like that. But his first shot on goal of the tournament was the OT golden goal, game winner in Ottawa. It was just super cool. And to have Freebird playing in the back of that one was a pretty cool American moment, just as a fan and a teammate.
Who's your roommate?
My roommate is Will Vogt.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll edit this all, and it'll look very nice for him. Look, Pete is a diehard Boston Bruins fan, and the Canadiens have won his heart with all the stuff they've done this season. So we wish you tons of success with BC the rest of the way, and we're very excited to see what happens down the road in your pro career. Thank you very much for coming on with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's going to be so hard to not lean too far into Dress Like an Idiot Day. The greatest thing in the world.
I mean, while that was playing, I suggested we should have Dress Like an Idiot Day every week.
Are you-
Every Thursday is Dress Like an Idiot Day.
I don't like planning a Dress Like an Idiot Day. I like the way they do it, which is like, oh, I didn't know that it was Dress Like an Idiot Day.
It's also clearly a compliment because, like he said, the guy dresses well.
No, I mean, I am.
It had to start somewhere.
Are you guys
Jumping
not like
through the glass
mean
window
to your friends?
Are we not mean to our friends?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because like that's like the only way I communicate with.
That's
my
the
best
true
friends.
brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but my confusion and what I was pulling at there was just that was the parlance. I've never heard anything about, is it Dress Like an Idiot Day?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
wouldn't say
usually we try to come up with something of a bar, and Dress Like an Idiot Day is very is out of a coloring book.
I wouldn't say it's generally speaking the parlance of people our age. I have never heard anyone say that before either.
It's so dumb. It's great.
And that's why we ask the questions.
Yeah, that's right.
From Leah Asimakopoulos, I should note I didn't know that name until today, and I learned it, so I just said it. Novel. Miro Heiskanen has been ruled out week to week with a lower body injury per Pete DeBoer. He had an MRI yesterday, and we'll see a specialist today to learn more about the injury. He is doubtful for Four Nations, but no official decision yet. So first Alex Pietrangelo, and now Miro Heiskanen faking an injury to miss Four Nations.
I think that most Dallas Stars fans would take that news based off of what the alternative was, which is that Heiskanen could be out for the rest of the year. And when you look at what happened, I was worried. I will take week to week. By the way, did you see the updated details on what happened to Caden Gooley?
No.
So he cut himself with his own skate
Yep.
on the quadriceps, and it came out yesterday from Tony Marinaro. Caden Gooley was cut, a very nasty cut. That sounds very Trumpy. Caden Gooley was cut, a very nasty cut. He was bleeding.
A lot of cuts on his legs.
He was bleeding a lot. Gooley's foot was blue, and he was screaming in pain.
There was so much blood.
He was bleeding a lot.
Screaming in pain. He had a tourniquet
Died
on
like a
his
dog.
thigh to stop the
Died
bleeding.
like a dog.
He had a tourniquet on his thigh to stop the bleeding, and there was blood all over the stretcher. He's done for the year.
Ugh,
So
Troy Stretcher.
not a time for
I hope
jokes.
Caden Gooley is recovering nicely, and I hope that he was bought a nice little Louis Vuitton bucket hat, because I guess that's what happens when you're a Montreal Canadian and you go undergo surgery. You get a Louis Vuitton bucket hat.
So I agree. I was struck more with from the Heiskanen news, but I guess considering the alternative, it could be a lot
That's
worse.
relatively good news.
Yeah. We have Four Nations captains, including a fresh batch because they've been announcing these on the hour. For Sweden, we got Victor Hedman, Eric Karlsson, and William Nylander. Oh, wait. And is Matthias Ekholm in there?
Yeah.
Or, okay. Yeah. Finland's got Sasha Barkov as the captain. Then you got Aho, Granlund, and Mikko Rantanen. And USA, freshly announced, only 3. Matthews gets the C. Matthew Tkachuk gets an A. And Charlie McAvoy getting an A. Initially, I was struck by this news as, wow, they're really holding on to like World Juniors Charlie McAvoy.
Mhm.
American hero Charlie McAvoy. And then Sean was like, the tournament's in Boston. They're just giving him an A.
Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. My initial reaction is like, well, Quinn Hughes is a captain. Why doesn't he get an A?
He's not built for
Especially
an A.
because
He's built for a C.
But I mean, especially because you're looking at only 2 versus 3 on the other teams. But ties back to, is Quinn Hughes a bad captain? He can't keep his own team in control, although the Canucks keep winning games. Maybe that's fuel to the fire. Quinn Hughes, bad captain, didn't even get to be named an assistant
I don't
or
know.
alternate at Four Nations.
I just like I said, maybe he's so used to being a captain, he doesn't know how to be an alternate. These other two guys wear A's every day.
That's
they
true.
know how to be an alternate.
And sometimes when you construct these teams, you say, hey, we're not just going to get a bunch of first-line players. We need some fourth-line players. We need some good bottom six guys, someone who can play that role.
What?
We'll see. I like my theory better.
Okay.
Por qué no los dos?
Yeah.
Canada's announced at 2 p.m. I don't know if you said that, but yeah.
Yes, Canada announced at 2 p.m. We're going to be waiting with bated breath.
Yeah. I mean,
It's gonna
obviously the top two are obvious, I would say. Or
Petrangelo.
I would say the three are pretty. I would say three are pretty obvious, right? Crosby, Marchand, and McDavid.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, I mean, if you're going to stick to your USA theory,
Well, this isn't
Marchand
the
can't be an
USA.
A.
This isn't the USA though.
That's
and
true.
he's worn an A in the
Yeah,
past.
I was going to say he's deeply experienced wearing an A.
Yeah.
He's been wearing an A
So is
on
Quinn-
and off
so is Quinn
since
Hughes.
2016.
The argument
Not
doesn't
as-
work.
Not as much though. He doesn't have as much experience. He has more experience wearing a C than he does an A.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is there's holes in this theory.
All right. Pete's turning into Matlock this show. And at first I didn't know how to feel about it, but I don't know. I just think it adds another little layer to this show.
I don't know what that reference is.
Me either.
Okay. Well, if you're truly on the type of shit that I think you're on right now,
We'll learn.
you're going to dig around.
Yeah.
You're going to dig around. You're going to get to the bottom of it. You're going to say, hey, I looked up this Matlock guy. I don't know if I'm buying what you're selling. A little dubious of it. Kyle Dubious is what we call him. Do you know who that is?
Kyle Dubious.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the guy who is dubiously running the Vancouver Canucks.
Very good, Pete, my doobie brother. More from Gary Mason in his chat with...
Oh my God.
What?
The guy who just gets Jim Rutherford to yap.
Yeah, he got more. Or he had, I don't know if this was leftovers.
leftovers.
I think this didn't, that always rules if you're doing a big story and you're like, man, there's so much stuff I can't even fit it into a 2,000 word thing because I'm not going to, like some people, write a 9,000 word thing that nobody's going to read just to prove that I wrote a big thing. You don't do that. You get all the good stuff in there. And on the cutting room floor is, among other things, the Nikita Zadorov contract negotiation. If you remember, Zadorov, when he got to Vancouver last year, great fit.
Yep.
Great fit. They have, as Wyatt said with us yesterday, like they have missed him or they've missed what he was there. I don't know if they've missed what he's doing right now. But at the end, Zadorov was talking close with Tocchet while Patrick Alvin was talking to his agent. Tocchet would ask him, what's it going to take to keep you here? And Zadorov said he had to get his contract to US $5 million annually, and then he'd be set. So we got him to US $5 million, but then there was still no deal. This is from Rutherford. So Rick said to him, what's going on? And then he said, well, if I can get to 6 years, then I'll stay. Same process. We said, okay. So twice in that process, he said, give me one more thing and I'll stay. And we gave it to him. And then he goes to Boston.
I'll be honest. Jim Rutherford, what the hell are you doing?
He's yapping.
He's yapping
Quite
for
frankly,
sure.
he's yapping.
But now people know that you gave Nikita Zadorov the same contract or offered him the same contract as the Bruins did.
And you're saying that people don't like us. You're
Right.
saying, hey, I'm a little miffed by it, but I guess this all makes sense.
Especially like with how Zadorov has played this year in Boston. Wouldn't you try to keep that close to the vest? Like, you'd just be like, whew, maybe bullet dodge there. He's like, nah, we wanted him. We tried our best. We matched Boston's deal. And he just said, fuck you guys.
I mean, there's a modified no trade clause for most of this deal, the final 4 years. And it is 6 times $5 million is his deal with Boston. He has a full no move this year, a no move next year, and then a modified no trade, I should say, the next 4 years. So maybe there were some rights in there that had to be negotiated that Boston just gave him a deal he liked better. Maybe he just liked Boston as a city better than Vancouver. He's obviously had some things to say about Western Canada in the past. Weird bit of information to share.
100%.
Once again.
Especially with the split negotiations. You've got Zadorov negotiating with Rick Tocchet, and then you've got Rutherford negotiating with his agent. strange bit of business.
That's also a weird admission. And I understand having somebody who's closer with the person kind of be the main point of contact for them. But to me, and we had this recently when we were booking Ryan Leonard, I was going through one person, and then a person reached out to you and was like, hey, if you ever need help with the BC person. And we were like, no, we go through one person, we go through the main person. If both of us are talking to different people, it just makes it so much easier for something to fall through the cracks because, I thought that you had that, or I thought that, like, make it mano y mano, for lack of a better term. And just a weird week for the Canucks in a time in which, I don't know, they won Tuesday, man.
I do believe Kirk Avery is right. Like, Rutherford has all the energy of a guy who knows he's on his way out and is just like, who cares?
I'll tell you who didn't do that, though, was
Ken Holland. Well, that's because
he had much different who cares.
That's because Ken Holland didn't do anything.
Yeah. The more I think about Ken Holland the last however many months, remember how happy and impressed I was with how Ken Holland handled the goaltending situation last year, where it was like, they got to do something. And they just called up Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was savvy. It was just the least thing he could do, and it ended up working out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
but I mean, maybe if you're a Vancouver fan, maybe you want Jim Rutherford to do nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Any place you want Brandon Saad to go before we get to a Slate Grade?
Maybe the New Jersey Devils.
Oh,
he's got to go somewhere. Like, New Jersey's had a lot of guys who just haven't done anything over the last like month and a half in terms of their forward group. Maybe inject him into that group, maybe see if he brings anything, or just gives the rest of the guys a kick in the pants. But he's ultimately got to go somewhere where he's going to get a playoff run, because he left a lot of money on the table by opting out of his contract with the Blues and terminating that. Left a lot of money on the table, and if he wants to recoup that, I think the easiest way for him to do it is to be a depth player on a playoff team and like show up in a few big spots to get his next contract. Like, that's probably his best bet.
Florida Panthers, Columbus Blue Jackets. I like either of those.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Columbus for a bit, wasn't he? He was in the Panarin
yeah,
deal.
he was traded for Panarin. Yeah. Interesting. Right. There is, you know where everyone says he's going?
The Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah.
That's just because I think that's maybe just an initial knee-jerk reaction to anybody just getting their contract terminated.
Yeah, I think that every time someone's available, people are like, oh, Oiler meme. And then 2 days later, we're like, well, I guess the Oilers signed them. Speaking of which, John Klingberg playing tonight.
Very excited.
Excited to see that.
Are you nervous at all?
No, it's going to be a fun game. I am, some personal news. I'm going to miss the first period of that game because I got to watch Severance as soon as it comes out.
Why?
Because I'm not going to be around this weekend, and I can't just like go through the whole weekend not knowing what's up.
You can't even go. You can't go on Twitter either. It'd be scary. Severance is going to have massive spoilers at some point during this year, and I don't want to get.
I've been saving Severance for Friday, which is the official day it's supposed to come out, but they drop them 9 p.m. the night before. I haven't been able to do that. I think I'm going to have to start doing like 9 p.m. right on the nose. Anyway, Red Wings, Oilers, but you know about that if you know the slate. Sean, take us there. Fun little wrinkle to the slate. We've got 10 games? 10 games this evening. Pete is going to give us the bowls, and some are going to be right, some are going to be wrong, and it is up to Sean and I to discern when is little sleuth Pete, little Kyle Dubious, when is he bullshitting us?
When am I lying?
When are you lying? Let's kick it off.
Me and Nikita Zadorov, stand-up guys who just fucking lie for the fun of it.
Jets at Blues, 7 p.m. Eastern. Could you give me some, Pete?
It's a Mark Savard bowl. It's a Yaroslav Halak bowl. And it's a Carson Kuhlman bowl.
It is a Carson Kuhlman bowl. It is not a Mark Savard bowl. It is a... Did you chunk it?
I did chunk it. Yeah, I did chunk it first.
Yeah, I played for the...
one. Yeah.
I thought I was like, you're trying to trick me by giving me an Atlanta Thrasher.
Yeah, that's my bad. I did course correct on that later on, so that's the only one I believe that it's going to be.
Very good. So...
who's the lie?
It is... given to me again? Oh, it's not Yaro Halak.
That is not a Yarrow Halak bowl.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Then
One
we
for one.
have. Do you want to
Wild.
set these up? Yeah.
Yeah. Wild at Canadiens, 7 p.m. Eastern.
It's a Jordy Ben bowl. It's a Benoit Pouliot bowl, and it's an Andre Kostitsyn bowl.
Process of elimination. It is absolutely a Benoit Pouliot bowl. Wild traded Benoit Pouliot after they made him a very high draft pick. I believe Jordy Ben or Andre Kostitsyn. I don't know. Sean, do you feel one way or another? I'm going to say
Absolutely
it is an Andre Kostitsyn bowl.
It is not an Andre Kostitsyn bowl. It is a lie. So, there you go.
All right, 1-1. Capitals at Senators.
It is Jacob Chicken revenge game, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
that one's
so I have some of these
yeah,
written
yeah.
down anyway. Yeah, it's a Jacob Chicken revenge game.
Yeah, I had chicken written down. I was like, that's too fucking easy. It is a Peter Bondra bowl. It is a Nicholas Aube-Kubel bowl. And it is a Joe Corvo bowl.
It's not a Nicholas Aube-Kubel bowl.
That is correct. Good job.
Yeah.
2-1.
Kings at Lightning, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is a fun one.
It is a Brian Boyle bowl.
Yes.
It is a Nate Thompson bowl. And it is a Riley Nash bowl.
I believe it is a Brian Boyle bowl.
Correct.
It is Nate Thompson or... I'm going to say it's not a Riley Nash bowl.
That is correct. 3-1.
3-1. Blackhawks at Hurricanes, 7 p.m. Eastern. A Teuvo Teravainen revenge game, if you will.
Yep. It is a Cam Ward bowl. It is a Max Domi bowl. And it is a Brian Bickle bowl.
It is obviously a Brian Bickle bowl.
It's definitely a Cam Ward bowl.
It is for sure a Cam Ward bowl. It is not a Max Domi bowl.
It is a Max Domi bowl.
Fuck, is Cam Ward the wrong one?
No, there is no wrong one. That is all those bowls are correct. I had to throw in one where I was fucking with you.
Okay, I respect that move.
This is also teams that fucked up with Gustav Forsling bowl, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
of
yeah,
course
good
it is.
call.
Islanders at Flyers, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I just need to note, I think this has been on the slate every game this season.
I know.
I think that every night there has been an Islanders-Flyers game as Sean fucking with us, and we have just been like,
That would've been-
we're not going to watch that game. We're not going to pay. And if you told us on day 900 of the season right now that you're like, oh yeah, I put that there I've even listed it as being on TNT, and you guys just move right on.
That would have been a good bit. I never really thought about doing that, but that would have been funny.
It would have been the perfect one.
Yeah. Islanders Flyers, who gives
I
a
feel
shit?
like Sean is too nice to slip in something that is just to fuck with us. Whereas anytime we do anything, there's always something slipped in to fuck with the other person.
Yeah,
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that because you guys have a show to do, and I don't want to like if it didn't play well and I just derailed you guys, then I would feel like an asshole.
How do you think I would feel, Sean? I can't speak for Pete. How do you think I would feel about you taking a chance?
No, I don't think you would have a problem with it. I think you would like it. I'm just saying, if it didn't play well,
especially if it didn't play well, I would be like, Sean really has that dog in him. All right.
I have a theory as to why you have that feeling. I think that it's because anytime you look at a slate and you see the Islanders logo and you see the Flyers logo, you immediately say,
Not watching
no,
that
thank
game.
you. Yes.
Also, not to get too far ahead to the other ESPN game, but this is back-to-back nights of ESPN having absolute stinkers as their exclusive games.
Oh, the national games last night were, what was the first national game? I put it on and I just said, okay, little peek behind the curtain. I put on the first national game and then I was like, I'm just not going to watch hockey tonight because of whatever it was.
I think was it Wild Canadiens? Or what was it?
It was
Flyers
Flyers Devils. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm not watching this.
I guess last night wasn't ESPN, but back-to-back night where the national games are stinkers.
But then I ended up watching Kings and Panthers. Had a decent time. Other than that, didn't watch hockey. Give me Islanders and Flyers.
It is a Yaroslav Halak bowl. It is a John Van Beesbrook bowl.
Yes.
And it is a Don Blackburn bowl.
It's a John Van Beesbrook bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I want to say this is a Halak bowl.
It is. What was Halak, the other one?
Yeah. Halak and Don Blackburn.
That one just seems so random.
I don't think Halak ever played for the Flyers, so I'm going to say it's not a Halak Bowl.
That is correct.
Whoa!
Good job.
I was in my head too because I was like, "There's no way." He's putting the Don Blackburn one in there to get me to say it's not that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just feel like it was a little too. Once I said Halak, I was like, Blackburn's a little too random to be not it.
All right, what's the score?
You're killing this. I think I only got one.
We don't give you a win for just straight up
Fucking with us.
fudging the numbers.
All right, I'll take the win if I
So
feel
be it.
a
I'll give
little
that
bit
to you.
unfair, but
4-2 through 6.
all right.
Okay, Ducks at Flames.
It is a Todd Bertuzzi Bowl. It is a Jonas Hiller Bowl, and it is a Bobby Ryan Bowl.
I'm not confident about any of these. Jonas Hiller. I'll say that Jonas Hiller did play for the Flames. Did he? I'll say it's not a Todd Bertuzzi Bowl.
It is a Todd Bertuzzi Bowl. It is not a Bobby Ryan Bowl.
Okay. 4-3.
I thought that was one of my weaker ones.
Red
Nice.
Wings at Oilers.
Red Wings and Oilers. It is a Paul Coffey Bowl. It is an Adam Oates Bowl. And it is a Mike Green Bowl.
Adam Oates did not play for the Red Wings.
Adam Oates did play for the Red Wings. It is not a Paul Coffey Bowl.
Paul. I'm just putting in my head because he's a coach for them. Oh no! Wait. Paul Coffey.
He did not play for the Red Wings.
Paul Coffey didn't play for the Red Wings. Got it. All right. So 4-4. This is coming down to the wire.
This is crazy.
Blue Jackets at Golden Knights.
Blue Jackets at Golden Knights. It is an Alex Wenberg Bowl. It is a Jonathan Marchessault Bowl, and it is a Malcolm Subban Bowl.
It is a Malcolm Subban Bowl. It is a Jonathan Marchessault Bowl. It is not an Alex Wenberg Bowl.
That is correct.
All right, 5-4. Don't chunk it, Dave. Sharks at Kraken.
It is a Ryan
Tucking us
Donato
in.
Bowl. It is a Martin Jones Bowl, and it is a Colin Miller Bowl.
Now, this is tricky because I don't believe... Oh, no. Colin Miller did play for the Sharks. Ryan Donato famously did play for the Kraken, did play for the Sharks. Who are the other ones? Colin Miller and who?
Martin Jones, the goaltender.
Yes, I don't know if Martin Jones played for the Kraken. Let's see. Kraken had... what was Martin Jones doing in recent years?
I also chunked it. Paul Coffey did play for the Red Wings.
Oh, okay. So I was
He played for both.
embarrassed when I thought that he didn't. When I was like, why did I think he played for the Red Wings? And apparently he did.
I chunked that. My bad.
Okay,
So this is just free.
Yeah. So this one's you've already won.
this is gravy.
There you go.
Okay. I'm going to say it is not a Martin Jones Bowl.
It is a Martin Jones Bowl. It is not a Colin Miller Bowl.
Colin Miller never played for the Kraken.
Yeah. He very much seems like somebody who could have played for the Kraken.
I mean, Colin Miller is a good one for these.
Yeah, 100%.
Who didn't he play for, as they say? All right.
So a couple hiccups. I chunked a couple of them, but
Yeah?
we'll revisit.
Okay, look, I'm going to break down these games for you real quick, and I'm going to shoot you straight. Jets at Bruins, that's a really interesting one because the Jets absolutely pummeled the Bruins earlier this season. The worst game of Jeremy Swayman's career, I believe, statistically. While at Canadiens, it's interesting. It's also a Benoit Pouliot Bowl. You've got Islanders Flyers. That's
a no thank you bowl.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, their first 51 meetings this season have been pretty interesting.
I must acknowledge the New York Islanders are hot too.
Yes, they're very hot.
They've won a bunch of games in a row. They've won 8 of their last 10. They have Tony DeAngelo, so they're hot.
Okay, Ducks. This is for sure an A-, but I'll tell you which games I'm loving. Jets at Bruins.
Jazz in the chat. Paul Coffey played 231 games.
That's
for
what I was going to say. I in that moment I was like, I'm embarrassed to say I see Paul Coffey in a Red Wings jersey. When I think of Paul Coffey, that's the team I'm thinking of him playing for.
If you Google Paul Coffey, one of the first three. Like they have
That
like
is,
the three pictures.
That is
it's him
big
and the Red
on
Wings.
me. I have a big Paul Coffey
No, that's
blind
okay.
spot.
That's okay. This isn't a Paul Coffey show.
It's a coffee show, though.
It is a coffee show. Blue Jackets, Golden Knights. I love that game. Structure kind of weird. Nothing really doing in the 8 o'clock, and you're using a 7:30 bridge with a bad game. You got a bad bridge game going from 7 to 9. Your only bridge game is a rematch of the 50 other Islanders Flyers games this year.
To be fair, bridge games get lost a lot of the times.
That's true. That's you know what? That's someone who knows their structure.
But again, this is the nationally televised one.
Yeah. Okay. This is an A-, obviously, but Kings at Lightning, good game. Jets at Bruins, good game. Wild at Canadiens, good game. Capitals Senators, good game. This is closer to an A than you would think. It's an A-. Oilers Red Wings, elite jersey matchup. There's only 3 bad games here? 2 bad games? But one of them involves the Hurricanes? This is a very high A-. I'll say it. This is a good slate.
You said there's only 2 bad games, and one of them's the Hurricanes game?
I'm saying there's 3 bad games. Blackhawks, Hurricanes, Islanders, Flyers, Ducks, Flames.
Sharks, Kraken?
Sharks, Kraken is horrible.
Yeah, that's god awful.
Well, there's only 3 bad
the
games
worst
and
one.
one horrible game. So this is okay. This is a middle of the road A-.
Yeah, I feel like it started off as an easy A-. It went to a very high A-.
Almost like nearly did it an A.
Yeah, that was 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
Really bringing it on home.
Somebody at some point said the guy on the left had made a bad point. That means that maybe you don't watch this show. Not that because that means you'd be surprised that I made a bad point, but that you don't know who's who. If you're new, subscribe, please.
Yeah, that's a fun way to sell it. But
somebody
also,
did on a comment, by the way, yesterday, did the like misidentify me and you thing in a comment, but they misidentified Sean. They said whatever they call the team name. I agree with Pete's point that the fans should be called the Clubbers. And normally, like they'll say like, oh, like DJ said, and it'll be something that Pete said, and just people don't know which one of us is which. That was one that I think was Sean.
That may have all just been not misidentifying the person, but misidentifying the message, because my message was that I want the team to be called the Clubbers.
That's true as well.
Yeah. So if you're new here, or if you're old, either one, hammer that like button right below the video player. That's a thumbs up player, the thumbs up icon, I'm sorry. And also, if you're listening on audio, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and vice versa. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe on the audio platform of your choice so that you can get us on the go if there's a day where you can't catch us on YouTube. We appreciate you
We're mobile.
Listening or watching this week, whatever you do. We love you. And
we have more content coming tomorrow, by the way.
Oh.
We have more content coming tomorrow. So
Interesting.
keep us mobile.
That's right.
Keep us in your thoughts.
That's right.
Consider us always.
Go Wasquatch, baby. Woohoo.
Wasquatch.
We all silly like the mayor.